Warning. The following show is likely to switch topics faster than a Kardashian switches NBA players in bed. Caution is advised. We surveyed 100 people. Actually, no, just some dudes off the street about JB. And here are the top answers. Number 1, JB. I love JB. Did I say that right? Do I still get my Chick-fil-A gift card? Number 2, who? Number 3, I know JB. He don't know shit. And now he's got a podcast? This is What the Hell Do I Know with JB. JB, your friendly late-stage midlife husband, dad, and self-diagnosed ADHD connoisseur. This is all about candid conversation with friends, colleagues, and professionals, unpacking life's lessons and having a damn fun time doing it. And hey, sometimes we're going to veer off topic. But isn't that what makes life interesting? Let's talk about taking the good parts and leaving the bad. Because life's too short for unnecessary baggage. This is What the Hell Do I Know with JB. And now your host, Jason Becker.
All right. Man, I'm glad to be back here. Every time, I know I say it all the time, it jazzes me up. I was telling Collin, and we'll introduce Collin here in a second, but I was telling him I start this show off, even us listening to it. You know, we could overlay the sound in and not do that, but I have a hard time starting cold. It's cool, man. It's like it gets you going. It's like, hey, heck yeah, let's do this
Pumped up,
thing.
dude.
Let's do
we need
this
some Little
thing.
John for the intro, you know?
Yeah. No doubt. But listen, again, thanks so much for listening. I really appreciate all your likes, your comments, your subscribes, or subs, as you young people like to say. I love it because I think by the time this thing airs, I'm fairly certain, unless, Brandon gets canceled. I mean, it's happening. It's happening
in certain parts.
It's happening in these parts of the woods sometimes. Right. But, I think we'll be over 3,000 subscribers by the time this rolls around. We're touching on it. Maybe, hey, who knows? Maybe we're at 4,000. Maybe we're at 4,000. In fact, if you're watching this show, I want you to go straight to YouTube if you can. Don't do it if you're driving. If you're listening online, don't do it. Don't Google it while you're driving.
If you're at Tesla, you can do it. Yeah.
You could be hey Siri, how many subs does What the Hell Do I Know have? And verify how many subs we are, and check me, comment below, you're only at whatever, and make fun of me or something. That'd be great. But man, I know growing up I had all sorts of good and bad influences. I really did. But when I was growing up, at some point in the time, as I started becoming an adult, I met my wife, in high school, and her parents were really influential in my life. But I started wanting to sit around the adult table. I always wanted. Do you remember that time when you had the kids' table and then the adult table? I wanted a seat at the table, and so I wanted to be at the adult table. And we used to go every time we come home from college or whatever, we would go with her parents to dinner on Friday night and their friends, and we would go to this Azteca Grill. It was on the south side of Atlanta, and I don't think it's there anymore. If you're from my hometown and that area there in Atlanta, he had a couple locations. Old Gus, and Azteca Grill was where it was at. Everybody went there. There was no reservations. You went there. You put your name in. You got a margarita if you could drink, and you just waited an hour or whatever until you could get your meat and rice and beans or whatever, your tacos and beans. And he was great. Funny story about Gus is we have this local pastor in the area, and he was retiring. And I heard he told me this story. Said he would go into Azteca Grill as well, like everybody else in the community, and he got to be friends with Gus. Everybody got to be friends with Gus. This is just great Mexican family. And he said, "Well, Gus, I'm leaving. I'm going down to St. Augustine or wherever it was he was going." He said, "I'm going down there to retire. But you know what, man? If you're ever in the neighborhood, just come on and swing by." Well, guess what? A few years later, old Gus was knocking on his door, no call or nothing. Was like, "I'm here. Hey, I'm here."
That's hilarious.
It's the only time.
Careful what you wish for.
Yeah. But listen, if you're listening right now, this is the adult table. You're here. You've made it. I don't care if you're 13, 14, 15 years old. We're going to try to leave you with something here. Again, some cheat codes, some life lessons. I mean, maybe not. Don't listen, whatever. What the hell do we know? You never know, right?
That's right.
That's right. But listen, we've got our drink of the day. I want to give a shout out to Chicken Cock. We promoted Chicken Cock before. Chicken Cock is whiskey from the days when you could name your whiskey Chicken Cock, a legacy that dates back to 1856 in Paris, Kentucky, a town tucked away in the heart of Bourbon County. So Chicken Cock whiskey is the oldest bourbon and oldest whiskey in our country, 1856, pre-prohibition whiskey, and it is amazing whiskey.
It is really good.
Collin, you and Juice are drinking old fashions. Brandon and I are doing it neat with a little orange slice in there. That's the way we drink them here. Yeah, cheers. I missed the cheers.
Yeah, hey, cheers, guys. We were really excited.
I'll be honest. I almost finished mine. It tastes so good, and then after I heard that, I like it even better.
It's amazing. It's in Paris. So Paris is the city. Paris, Kentucky.
Yeah, Paris, France got its name from Paris, Kentucky. Chicken cock. That's what I heard.
100%.
But you know, the county name Paris is in is the Bourbon County. That's where you get the bourbon name from, is Bourbon County, Kentucky.
Wow.
But yeah, 1856, Paris, Kentucky, the oldest whiskey in our land, and it was Sir Winston Churchill's favorite whiskey, which I think is pretty interesting story. They have a really rich heritage. The brand's been revitalized. They've got some 10-year, 12 years. So check them out, chickencottwhiskey.com. I love promoting, especially American-made products. And all you watching overseas, look, we'll drink your stuff too. But I mean, I just love our country just like you love yours. And so, man, I'm telling you, Chicken Cock Whiskey. And if you're from another country, send me your whiskey over. I'll send you this. It'll be great.
Yeah, I mean,
but for sure.
That's a deal. I take him up on that. I'll do it.
Be like Gus.
Yeah, absolutely. As always, drink only if you're over 21 and drink responsibly. Now, our sponsor for the show today is the Optimal Human. Optimal Human, the all-in-one health supplement meticulously designed to fill the nutritional gaps left by modern diets. By combining essential vitamins and minerals with targeted nutrients designed to support your gut microbiome, boost your immune system, and enhance cognitive performance. Yeah, you know, for those guys from Georgia.
Yeah.
Optimal Human is more than just a supplement. It's your daily nutritional safety net. I love it. And Collin Sanders, we have Collin here, and this is your brand.
That's right. Yeah.
Optimal Human. Can you tell me a little bit about Optimal Human?
Hey, thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah.
That intro made me laugh. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So that was good. Yeah. Just back to, I know your audience is a lot of younger people, and back to that seat at the table comment, that was crazy to hear from you, because that's all I've wanted my whole life, right? I'm 34 now.
Right.
And I just real story while I digress. Please. I moved in high school. I moved 3 hours away from basically an inner city, public school to a very wealthy area. And, I'll just that seat at the table thing. I started.
You're always fighting for that, right?
Right. I went from not being able to go out to eat ever in my life to absolutely, if we did, there was no. You never ordered a soft drink. That was a waste of money. To
if you find the least expensive item that you think might fill you up.
That's it. Right. Yeah. To going, with friends whose parents could afford, nice dinners and
fillets.
And in hindsight, they just had parents who worked extremely hard, who wanted a seat at the table at one point, right? But it's crazy as time flies, and to hear that's something I fight for every day, right? 100%. Is for that seat at the table. So.
Well, something I love about this country is that we provide more seats at the table. I was reading something the other day, and I will not get this statistic right, so somebody, again, check me, boo. But, it was something about how the pro-business economy in the country has pulled more people out of poverty. Billions of people out of poverty that were in poverty last generation. So, in other words, generationally, their family was below the poverty level, and billions of families have been pulled out of it. I'm not saying we don't have more to do. I'm not saying there's not more to do. And by the way, there are some people, unfortunately, in fact, if you're watching this podcast, I'm guessing you're probably not in this group, but there are some people that just, they like where they're at, and by the way, it takes all walks of life to make the world go around. So I don't disparage anyone, but and there are some people that just don't, that they do want to live off of the system or whatever. Yeah. So there's that too, and our country provides for all of those in between. But we produce more billionaires than anyone else in the world. We pull people out of, if you want to hustle here in this country, you can do it. And that's what I love about it. And I love, you can get a seat at the table if you hustle.
That's right. True. So, just knowing you have a younger demographic, I wanted to say that first, because like you're from Georgia. I'm just I call him a redneck from Arkansas, right? Who just doesn't know any different, right?
Hillbilly.
So, exactly.
I feel like Indiana is like a lot like the same kind of stuff we go through.
It is.
You've been there. You've seen it. Hills and Hollies, man.
Hills and Hollies.
I love it.
Yeah, Brandon plays the banjo.
I don't. But I got friends in it.
So, this Optimal Human. Sorry, I'll land that plane real quick.
We all have ADD. It's all good.
Exactly.
It says brain health. That's interesting.
Right? Help me.
So if that's why I built it, right? I need that. No, I'm kidding. So right now there's a couple players in the industry who are, unicorns, which are billion-dollar companies, right? One of those is Athletic Greens. They're now AG1, formerly Athletic Greens, and another is Bloom.
Okay, our young audience probably know them. right, for sure.
Exactly. So they're known as a superfood green.
Gotcha.
So we've actually worked almost 3 years on this product. AG1 Athletic Greens is who we were kind of chasing after, right, to steal some of their market share. And during the process, we had an epiphany. And what that was this was originally a superfood green like everybody's heard of, right? So whether you like First Form, all these pre-workouts and proteins everyone's on, right? Those companies all have a green. Okay. And the last 18 months or so, AG1, formerly Athletic Greens, created a whole new niche, like Red Bull did the energy drink, like Chapstick did lip lubricant, right? Okay. They created an all-in-one nutritional supplement. And that's what this Optimal Human is. So it has 97 all-natural ingredients.
I saw that 90 plus.
That's crazy. That's insane. American-made. AG1's made in New Zealand. So that was one thing. We're very proud of our country.
100%.
And proud to, have American-made manufacturing. Exactly. Exactly. Sure. So it's sugar-free, dairy-free, soy-free, gluten-free. Literally no added ingredients. You can see there.
Vegan.
Bring that up.
We'll post a link to Optimal Human, and we'll post that page up there for sure.
We just launched last Friday, so right now you can go to optimalhuman.com and get 50% off your subscription.
Holy cow.
But we're really excited. We're working with a lot of big influencers, and
that's great.
It's a really big project we've been working on, so thanks.
So when you have Optimal Human, though, I'm going to take this. Do I take it before my workout, or is it just something I can take in the morning? I can drink this like instead of coffee or in addition to.
Some of
you aren't going to get rid of the caffeine.
Can you put it in coffee?
Like today, right? We're shooting on Cinco de Mayo, so I've had a lot of bullshit. I've had a couple margaritas. I've had some Mexican food. I haven't had a comprehensive day, and I don't a lot of days, right? I'm busy. I'm a dad. I'm working just like you and everyone listening. So this is just, I call it you can't miss with it, right? So if I, like iron, there's iron in there. Where the hell do I get my iron, right? Your body's, there's 97 ingredients. We all know we can't take in all those ingredients, but where your body's lacking the most, you're going to get out of this, right?
Very good.
So it's just an all-in-one nutritional sup. So it's that simple. It's just, you can't miss with it. It kind of rounds your diet out.
Very cool. Yeah. I am so excited about it. By the way, we here, Collin, you kind of, we've introduced you and Collin Sanders. You've also got Going Bigley is another one of your sites, which is a full-scale digital marketing agency and sweepstakes company. Yeah. By the way, you guys know the jabronis to my left and your right if we're seeing it, because you've got Juice wearing his FSU here, and then my boy Randon B Money, who is
I got them dog love today. I'm a Hoosier and I'm a dog.
It's Woo Pig over here, boys.
Arkansas.
Yeah. Hey, you got a new coach, I heard. That's a whole new thing.
Oh, man.
Basketball.
Right? And basketball, did you guys get the...
We got Cal.
Cal.
How did that happen?
That's a whole other show. I go on that one.
Right?
You want to talk college basketball.
Amazing. That's amazing. But Bigley, Bigley launches and manages your own brands, along with partnering with large-scale influencers to launch and manage their e-commerce
Yes, sir.
Is that right?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
So it's a crazy story, but I'm just in Arkansas.
GoBigley.com.
Yeah, GoBigley.com. I'm just a hustler, right, from Arkansas. And we were talking before the pod. I've bootstrapped everything I've done. So one thing that in my generation, right, born in 1990, 34 years old, internet became huge, right? While I was a kid in the 90s, and you just couldn't help but as a kid.
Especially when you factor that out, when you're hitting like 12 and 13, you're in that 2001, 2002 where now the emails are happening, Facebook's starting to take off. There's all of these things right in your like wheelhouse of growing up.
Yeah, and when you don't have anywhere to start, that's a great place to look is the internet. Sure. So again, if you're watching this, I call it YouTube University. Please, anything you want to learn, you can learn there for real and change your life.
I've learned so much,
and I have a college degree, but don't use a lick of it, right?
Right.
So I've sold stuff online for years.
Gotcha.
Literally, if it was eBay, buying and flipping stuff. If it was
baby clothes. I remember you selling baby clothes.
And then it went to
awesome.
I've done it all, man. Then it went to, paid traffic, so buying ads and what they call drop shipping in the days, right? So if it was a cool nozzle that went on your water hose, right, and turned it into a pressure washer, like the as seen on TV stuff. So that was fun. Spent millions of dollars doing paid traffic and back to our conversation, lost millions of dollars doing paid traffic. It's cool to say I've spent 8 figures on paid traffic in my life, but it hadn't translated just yet, but that's okay. But anyway, so I failed forward a lot, and through being in e-commerce, it went from drop shipping, and then it evolved to having to build a real website, even if it was a one product store, because the algorithms change and you have to stay up to date, right?
Yeah.
And obviously the internet's so new and evolving still to this day. If you're not, learning every day, you're getting behind, right? With all this new AI crap. So
you better get on that.
Exactly. Get on it. And if you're not a good user of all the tools, you're not useful anymore, right?
You almost have to have somebody dedicated to that specific.
That's
right?
You got to watch it. You got to know it. It's interesting. You know what I'm hearing Collin say is it's something that I've said before. And I think I was talking to my son about this because, God, I love my son. He is crushing in college, and he is going to be
that's the new news segment I got. You should say for the new news segment about him deciding.
Oh yeah, I should. Yeah. Well, you know what? We'll jump right into it. Yeah. We'll call this new news, our new news section. We'll jump right into new news. But and Jackson he's absolutely crushing it down there, and he's decided. I think I did an episode 3 or something like that. Had Jackson, and I've been trying to get him to get his dual degree, and he's now decided to add one more semester and get 2 degrees.
That's
he's going to finish on time anyway. Yeah, I was like, you're crushing it. You're ahead anyway. Go ahead and do it and get 2 degrees. So he's getting a degree in entrepreneurship and a degree in finance, which I think the finance degree will they literally coincide, because if there's one thing I wish I went heavier in, it would have been the accounting and the finance part.
Me too.
You aren't lying, brother.
Because numbers drive everything. Numbers drive everything. But what I've told Jackson, and I'm going to tell you this too, as you young people, if you are a college student and you've kind of gotten book smart, and especially if you've kind of had the seat of the table, if you're eating caviar, if you're coming from a good spot, it is really hard to be hungry. In other words, the best entrepreneurs are the ones that have missed meals. If you've never missed a meal, it is really hard to do it. Because there is some kid out there that's not going to college. There's some kid out there that if he doesn't make that work, he's not going to eat. And so when you have a fire in your belly, I told him, I said, you got to figure out, like, you're going to have to work to make the fire in your belly.
Yeah.
Because you hadn't missed a meal.
Yeah.
And again, I'm so proud of him, and I think he understands it, but it's that point I'm trying to get into him is that you're going to have to hustle. Because the one thing I know about me is I've missed meals in my life, And so, I'm 47 years old, and I'm telling you now, if I lost everything, I could claw back another $1 million. I'm telling you I could. Because I could out-hustle.
Yeah, it's work ethics. It's all that matters.
Yeah. One thing our kids won't get to experience is what zero feels like, but I'm comfortable there. We talked about that, right?
Yeah.
When you started there, you've lost your money 20 times, right? I mean, what is that? I mean,
what does zero
I love
feel?
this, right? But what is this, right?
What does zero feel?
Being at zero is almost comfortable. So
what does zero feel, right?
Well, there's nowhere to go but up.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's right.
So
there's nowhere.
There's only possibilities at this point.
Like when he says that, when that comes out of your mouth, JB, it's
all write that down.
I already know you did it, right? You came from nothing because you have no fear, right?
That's right, baby. You just do it. You go out, you do it, and I've had deals that haven't worked out. Unfortunately, I mean, I've had heartbreaks, I've had all that stuff. I've heard the no, and but you keep pressing, you keep doing it. But that's it. Like when you know how to hustle, that's the one. I don't care what it is, but if you're willing to hustle and you put in the time, it's outworking the other guy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
I think I don't know if I told this story, but and I'm totally getting off track here, but we went on a run. There was like a 5K turkey run. I may have told this story, so y'all stop me, but we were on a 5K turkey run years and years ago. My family's in town, is in our hometown, and the way is like a turkey trot, they called it, so you kind of feel like you've earned the right to eat the turkey.
That's right.
So we did the whole 5K run, and as we were coming in, this kind of came into the shopping center in our hometown, and I still had, my knees was still working, and we were coming in there, and it kind of circled around like the Kohl's and the JCPenney's and the Hobby Lobbies or whatever.
What's
and
a JCPenney, dog? They're all closed.
I said JCPenney.
Yeah, no, that's when we went as kids, so there's none left.
But it circled around. I'm going to get lots of comments from my hometown. Like, you missed everything. but we circled around, and because I thought I was done. Like I remember when I came in the parking lot, I thought I was done. I didn't realize like I had like another quarter mile, or half a mile to go. And so I started kind of kicking it up, and then I realized, I got to run this whole parking lot. And so as it came back around, they had all the locals, families were lined up in the last 400 yards or whatever it is, the last bit, everybody's lined up there and they're all cheering. And so you're running through and you see the finish line, you see the end, and all of a sudden I see this guy beside me and I hear his family yelling at him, and they're screaming. They're screaming at the top of his lungs. He must have had everybody from Thanksgiving, 5 generations. There was half the people clapping and cheering. They're going, you can do it. You can do it. Let's go. Whatever his name was, Mikey, it doesn't matter, whatever it is. You can do it. You can beat him.
And you were him?
I was him.
So you didn't let her win.
Not today, son.
No.
Let's
I don't
go,
care.
baby.
You found
High stepping,
Yeah,
boy.
that probably felt good.
Yeah.
I mean, I got my second win.
Let's
and I'm
go.
talking, I mean, pumping the arms and everything. I was like, he ain't not
Oh,
today.
dude, yeah, you were fighting.
No, sir.
You were fighting Rocky that day.
Pick another dude.
Ain't
Yeah.
gonna happen.
I love it. That's
So, you know,
good.
you just got to know when to hustle. You got to out hustle that guy.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah.
And so you got to be able to do it. But yeah, new news is so, but, oh, by the way, at Go Bigley, you should follow Go Bigley Instagram page.
Yeah, Bigley
'Cause
boys.
It is funny.
Yeah.
It is so funny.
It's,
and I want to ask you, because one thing I know about you is your HR department is not there.
That's me. I am HR. It gets escalated to me. Yeah.
The comment box.
I wanted to ask you about the one guy that puts on this boxing glove. It's like a shark boxing glove, and he goes around like when people are working, he hits them like in the back of the head. Now, is he like light tapping, or is it just like you're there? I mean, where is he? Like medium to hard?
He's actually a fighter, MMA fighter. He fights
Oh, my goodness.
May 11th, so the Saturday I get back.
Nice.
But if you go to our Instagram, it's not a representation of what we do at all. It's just
a lot of fun.
So
Yeah. A lot of
that
fun.
guy you
Yeah,
asked
a lot of
about
fun.
is a guy we let run it, and he's a veteran, a Marine veteran
That's awesome.
who he actually presses. So we do all of our apparel production in house.
Okay.
So his other job is he's actually in apparel production, but we let him do that too and just have fun. So
He had so much fun.
Yeah.
It was
That's
like
awesome.
he has one. The funniest video I saw. He said, "And when you go to the boss, and he gets Collin in the back of the head."
Yeah. He drilled me too.
man.
Yeah, that was a hard punch. I was
so
kind of
it's real.
pissed. I was like,
But you like laughing it off.
Yeah,
but you know
well,
it's on
I knew
camera,
he was
right?
doing it.
I got you.
That's why when he hit me, I was stiff as a board, and I was like, "Damn, that man made it hurt worse." But,
I feel like he
I watched
does.
that and I was like, they don't have an HR program.
no,
Yeah.
that's
He's like,
funny.
what are you going to do about it, bro?
Yeah,
What you gonna do?
and you know it's funny you,
told
say
me I
that.
could film.
I'm very passionate about our culture. We don't.
Sure. No. I can tell you have a great culture.
Yeah,
I mean, it's all fun and games.
But
I can
no,
tell you.
absolutely. But you know, we're proud in interviews. We tell people, you know, this is opposite of corporate. You know,
Yeah.
we hold each other accountable. We lead with love and accountability and all of that.
Yeah, so here we are. We had a quick intermediate bathroom break, but we are back, and you wouldn't know the difference because we paused the technology. How about that? But man, it is a lot going on. And I love watching that Go Bigley though. It's a lot of fun, and you should go to their Instagram page and you should follow it. They've got a lot of great products, a lot of good time. And so I think, I mean, I follow it, so I think it's great.
Well,
It's a lot of
thank
fun.
you so much.
For sure.
Yeah, it's
great
fun.
putting out entertainment. I mean, you can put out products, but you know, sometimes your products that you got to entertain.
Yeah,
people, right.
and-
It's got to
and,
be fun.
You know, that page is just for our team, and you know what? If it helps our culture at all, I'm for it, right?
100%.
So I love it so much.
100%. 100%.
But yeah, thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, for sure. But on the new news, though, I also, by the way, it's kind of tisk the season for charity events. I mean, by the time this airs, it'll be a few months after. But down here, I went through like all these charity events.
You did.
I went to like a gala, then which is kind of like the prom for this one charity. And again, shout out to Emerald Coast Children's Advocacy Center because I love what they do and they advocate for children. So I'm a big supporter of we call it ECAC, but Emerald Coast Children's Advocacy Center. You should check it out. In fact, we'll have to have them on here because they're a great local charity. But then we did the Destin Wine charity, which they help, I think, 17 different children's charities. The Destin Wine auction is it's like in the top 10, maybe top 3 wine charity auctions in the country.
Wow.
It's massive.
I can't imagine how those bids went.
Massive. Oh, man.
You're telling me one story where somebody bid
it was like
crazy amount.
You look at the trip and it's like an $8,000 trip, but I mean, it go to like 70,000. Yeah, it's like insane. So people were coming to support the charity, and I think they raised $3 million in the auction that day. It was insane.
Huge.
So
Wow.
Which I think is really good. But by the way, I've also heard it said before, there was something essentially that wants someone to the effect that if you live generously, you can comfortably say no. Like if you live generously, there's a myth that is giving is related to your wallet, but it's actually really related to your heart. Mm-hmm. So like if you live generously and somebody asks me for money, and it's just not in my wheelhouse, I can tell them no. I can tell them that, and I don't mean mean. I can just say no. I'm sorry. I've already my slate's full because I my wife and I do a lot for Charity Water. It's a great I'm giving a lot of charity shout outs right now because I do love to be charitable. If I'm blessed, I want to bless and give back to others. But Charity Water, they provide water you wouldn't realize how many people drink unclean water.
Oh, yeah.
And so they provide fresh water to places that they can't. The thing I love about them is every dollar you give goes to that.
That's the big,
so
that's huge.
You can't, and they're completely transparent. Now, they have people that say, I want to give to your staff, right? I want to provide for your needs and your cost of operation. But as a charity, if you can elect, say I want 10% to go to staff, I have 100% to go to charity. And they'll do that, and you can watch if you gave $90, this $90 went to this well right here, and
so how much
this village have new water right now.
That needs awesome. Most of that should go to Flint, Michigan. It sounds good.
Maybe so, but what you wouldn't be surprised is a lot of diseases and a lot of health benefits, issues happen just from water.
Yeah, isn't it
water?
Like over 80%, I think,
water
of hospitalizations worldwide.
Scott Harrison's the guy name. In fact, you should Google Scott Harrison and listen to his story. Okay. He was a New York nightclub guy, and he just somewhere along the line he was like, life's got to be more than partying. And he went on like some, I guess, mission sort of trips. Not so much with the faith folk. I mean, it was just mission and going out like Peace Corps sort of thing. I don't think it was Peace Corps, but it was something like that. I want to help a community and figure it out and do something different. And he fell in, and he saw this need for water, and he just told people on his birthday. So he does birthday charities. Like, instead of give to me on my birthday, give to this charity.
Yeah, he probably started there. Everybody does that now.
Everybody's doing that now. Cool. Scott Harrison did it. It's a Charity Water. You should check it out. It's a great, great charity. But again, locally here, I love Emerald Coast Children's Advocacy.
A lot of local charities I see are the people driving around with the Cash App or Venmo me on the car because it's my bachelorette party.
Yes, I see those everywhere.
And so now it's like everybody's doing the local tax. They're sending them requests for money. It's hilarious, dude.
That's
our society's changed.
I know.
It's
so
I'm on a bachelorette party. Send money for a shot. That's literally what's on their car.
But you remember when you got married? So when I got married, you had to. So I don't know if it was this way for you, Collin, and I know for you, probably you got married later in life. I don't know if it was this for you, but I went to like whatever the store was, Macy's or JCPenney.
Yeah, you did register.
But you registered, but they give you a little scanner.
Target.
And Target. Yes. Yeah. And you would scan all the things you want.
I scanned the whole store.
You would tell people, I'm registered at Target. And then they could go to any Target. They didn't go online. They could go to a Target, and then they would say, well, can you print me off
what's left?
Yeah. And then and sometimes if you were lucky, it'd tell you the aisle to go down to, and you could get the gift and mark it off their list, right? Now it's all online,
yeah.
Oh, I did my second cousin is out in Texas. She's having a baby, and so Sophia, and she had a registry, and I went online to wherever it was she was registered. I clicked her link online and went to it, picked out what was there on the list, and it ordered it from the store and delivers it to her house.
Yeah, it probably only took you like 2 clicks.
100%.
Right.
It's
crazy.
Super easy. But you know what people are doing now, though, is they have the whole GoFundMe for like their honeymoons and stuff.
Oh, yeah. I have seen that.
Like I was doing like plates and silverware.
Yeah, right.
Like toasters, But by the way, no criticism. I know if you're watching this, 100% know you probably have like a GoFundMe honeymoon. I actually wish I knew that. I mean, we used to do like sacks full of cash, or something at the wedding. But
the dollar dance at the wedding or something, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's
all
right.
That. So,
anybody else got any new news before?
I do. I got somebody graduating. Addison, my daughter's graduating this year.
The time this airs, she will have graduated high school.
All the graduations are happening. It's happening. Yes. So. And then I got a soon-to-be senior.
Absolutely, Another one will be a rising senior, right? Yeah. So you're about to be empty nested in inside of a year.
It's going to be weird.
That's good stuff.
It's going to be.
Where is she thinking about college at?
She's kind of not decided yet, but
I mean, she's got into a lot of places. So like she's into a lot of schools. I know you were telling me like Flagler and Indiana and West Florida. And
I still don't know what she still doesn't want. But who does know what?
Yeah.
I just got to say,
and I don't even know what I want to do yet.
You guys are top tier dads right here. So your kids, Indiana, and where the hell else?
Yeah.
Flagler, and another son, double majoring. I mean, we need to do a pod one day about. I want to make sure I'm on the right track.
I didn't do anything. She worked
Goodness gracious, that's awesome.
Real hard.
That's great.
They're good kids. I mean, I don't know what the secret sauce is, but occasionally I might leak out something nice.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, for sure. But all right. So now that we've done that, it's time to play What the Hell Do I Know with Collin Sanders. So I'm going to give you 7 questions, rapid succession. Okay. Put the clock on you. If you don't know, just pass. But I'm gonna look. I'm no gotcha. Here we go. All right, Collin. Question number 1. I noticed you exercise. What's the longest run you've ever gone on?
34 miles.
Jeez.
Yeah. It was crazy.
Unexpected answer.
It was crazy. It was recent.
Oh my goodness. What was your first car?
Jeep Cherokee.
When you were in high school, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Entrepreneur.
Okay.
Nailed it.
Favorite sport to watch on TV?
UFC.
Nice. I love it. Favorite part of being a father?
Just the time, spending with them.
That's awesome. I love that answer. Best place you have gone to on vacation?
Belize.
How often do you pray?
About 50 times a day.
I love it.
Yeah. If you're having a bad day,
more. Sometimes I feel like my day is just this one continuation of prayers. I've never said amen. I just keep going.
I do. I'm like, God, my bad. Sometimes it's bad. It might be because a pretty woman drove by, but most of the time I'm like, God, my bad. I'm right back at you.
But
and I know He forgives us, and He's there 100%. Listening.
Some of it I think is just just a prayer about my kids, or a prayer about my day, or it's just a community, or you see an ambulance go through, and you're like, man, I'm praying for that person,
100%,
or whatever it is.
100%.
They're probably having a worse day than me.
There's like this talk with your Creator that, again, and look, if you're listening to this and you're not a faith person, I totally get it, because if I had gone through what you've gone through in life and then dealt with the things that you've dealt with, I'd probably feel the exact same way you feel about faith. However, there is an opportunity to talk to your Creator, and I think prayer is really, really good.
100%.
Easy peasy.
Easy peasy.
Exactly.
I promise you he'll listen. I promise you he'll listen.
I had a preacher tell me once, there's no room for anxiety and gratefulness, right? So
I like that.
Obviously, as entrepreneurs, we all understand what that feels like, being, a little bit anxiety-ridden, right? Whether that's excited, however it comes out as anxiety. Yep. So I try to pray all the time for gratefulness, when I'm feeling away. I remember that there's only room for one or the other, right? So it has me pray constantly.
It's true. When you're really grateful, it's hard to be anxious about something, but anxiety is hitting the world hard, and it's actually one of the things that I would challenge the church on, because I think the church in general does a so job in mental health world, because it's kind of like, well, you don't worry, and all these things, but that is easier said than it is to
for sure.
Especially if you're living with somebody that has anxiety. I mean, I deal with anxiety. My son deals with anxiety, and
100%.
I think we were talking the other day, and I was showing you my whole fast tattoo, and but I mean, like, sometimes you've done everything you can do, and you don't know what else to do, and so all you can do is pray it up and then trust it out.
That's it.
And get through it. And so, the things that help me in anxiety is that I try to remember that I've been there before.
Yep.
And it hasn't ended my life, know. And so, and the older you get, I think you find better coping things. And so, it's something I tell my son is like what you're going through. Remember, like, can you remember something like this happening before, and it didn't turn out the way you thought it was going to?
That's right.
Way.
Yeah, that's right.
But it's never as bad as you think it's going to be.
Yeah, it's never as bad as you think it's going to be.
It's been broken down once. I think 2% of what you worry about on average
for sure.
happens.
For
right?
sure. For sure.
And I need to tell myself that, right?
We all do.
So yeah.
So Collin, I know we've talked about Optimum Human, we talked about Go Bigley, but I want to give you a second here for like a 2-minute or a 90-second or something, like kind of helicopter view. Is there anything else you want to share with us? I know you're marketing these other e-commerce, which is interesting. Yeah. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about
I don't even feel
stuff you're doing.
Worthy to share. I'm just grateful to be here and answer any questions that come. But I'm just a serial, like starving artist, but starving entrepreneur. Never had a lick of funding, not once.
That's
never
awesome.
had a bank loan. Done everything bootstrapped, and I'm in. My main focus is digital marketing. We do these big giveaways. We've given away 19 vehicles in the last.
Oh man, do we have one?
19 years, or 19 months, and
no, I mean I was a part. I helped them film one we did here at Baytown Marina. They gave away a
that was a Raptor.
It was a Raptor. Yeah, so it was sick.
We give these people $10K cash and a vehicle, and we've given away cash. Lots of other things. But
I saw one.
It's been a blessing.
Flew up from somewhere.
We fly them in.
Yeah,
and we do a big production.
This white Raptor.
Yeah.
I mean, it was sick.
Yeah. So really sick. What we do is everybody
we'll
watching.
Put a link to that. We'll put
So Juice, you could go to like CameronHaynes.com. So what JB was saying earlier, we partner with these major influencers, and essentially we're their whole brand. So back in Arkansas, we literally their customer service, their fulfillment, their whatever, web development, media buying, every single function, and they just get to be themselves, right? Even their content, we tell them what to do. So Cam, he's launching a new shoe. That's what that.
Nice.
So literally, our team, we're on a Slack chat talking about these assets, right? That
and you're helping in this e-commerce.
This is our business. So
he's a really big bow hunter, right?
Yep. Is running is helping to run or running this.
All of it, 100%. So the designs, literally printing the book, where that book came from,
T-shirts, the book,
every product, right?
Gotcha.
So for Cam, we're working on. He's about to launch his own Target. So he's a huge bow hunter. He's been on Joe Rogan 14 times.
Very cool.
So we source all these things. Those hats are made. Those are our own hats. We manufacture our own hats. So, and essentially being bootstrapped, that's kind of like the golden. I don't know what the hell I'm doing, but because it's like just surviving, right?
Right.
In hindsight, the golden kind of compass has always kept us alive. But yeah, so we.
So the truck giveaways, it looks like when they purchase items from the sites, right? That's how they get.
That's exactly right. So
that's how they get entered into the giveaway. So the more products you purchase, the more entries you receive.
That's right.
Because the lady we met, she literally bought the one he gave away at Sanders, and she had bought 2 shirts the day before it ended.
Yep.
Because he does them like
that's how she
went. And she got put. She was like one of the last people to get actually put into the entry.
So when you do this, you're not picking like your aunt.
No, these are unfortunately, it's about $7K a giveaway to federally register it to kind of indemnify us from anything.
Oh yeah, because you got to it's got to be legit.
It's
right?
legit. It's very legit. The rules are written before, so the timelines, the multipliers, all that stuff. But what this does is, from an e-commerce perspective, I know we were going to talk about a little marketing. It creates
this is marketing.
Exactly. This creates a Black Friday, right? The end of these giveaways, if they have a big enough audience, which we're good, we think of their whole business in a whole circular economy. So we want to be great at their email and SMS marketing and growing that list. We have to have great paid traffic. They're organic, which is this content, and socials need to be wonderful. Affiliates, if they're relevant, right?
So you're wrapping them all around like 360.
So So what it does is the giveaway is great, but all it is a promotion, no different than 20% off or buy one get one, right?
But it's a CAC, right?
Yes,
it's a customer acquisition cost.
That's exactly 100%. What it is, and what it does is so Cam has a podcast, and because his podcast exist, we grow a big email list, and when he does a episode, we get him tons of views immediately and watch time, and the algorithm loves that. So we like to bring irrational value, I call it. Like you talk about generosity, and I love that. That's what we try to do. So we come from we just want to bring irrational value to these people.
I'm telling you, others before self, you've never gone wrong. We did service. We did a service pod an episode or so ago, and putting others before yourself, you're never going to get wrong.
Man, I was so hateful for so many years on accident, really, in hindsight, not knowing, right?
Yeah.
Didn't like when people won, and I didn't know, I didn't even know I was unconsciously unaware at that time, but man, when I stopped swinging for fences, I had this app and that had a really big chance, and I went in this tech accelerator, and that was my only corporate anything, and I know I'm running so far from that ever again. But after that, I came back and squared down and said, you know what, I'm not swinging for the fences anymore. I'm going to be extremely grateful for any small win. I'm going to start with a tiny business that I know I'll cash flow. It's not going to get me rich like I keep swinging, but when I did that and started just giving first, God just
multiplied it a little bit.
Changed everything. He gave me more energy than I've ever had, more opportunity than I've ever had. I meet great people like you guys all the time that I just don't even deserve to be in the same room with, right?
Well, meditation is a big thing, too.
Yeah.
And
manifestation's real.
Man, back in the day when we had our sanitation company, our second-generation garbage hauler, and out of Atlanta, and we grew the company, actually became the largest residential hauler in the state of Georgia and the largest family-owned sanitation company in the Southeast at the time.
Wow.
And so we really did well. My father-in-law in 2009, the beginning of 2009, really the end of 2008, some people kept knocking on the door. They did it every year, every 2 years for 20-something years. And you just weren't ready. I mean, when you have 500 customers, when my father-in-law was doing it, and it was really tough, you just don't know. Some days he might have thought I'd sell now, but, you might get your money back or, whatever. And then you keep going. And finally in 2008, 2009, I called him up. He was living down here, and I called him up and I said, hey, Dave, somebody called me, and I went ahead and had a discussion with him, and here's kind of the world they're talking about. And he was like, well, the hungry pig gets fed, the greedy pig gets slaughtered. I think it's time to go.
That's right.
So it was time to go, and it's great.
That's awesome.
And it's really wonderful. We cash on hand in 2009. You couldn't buy anything.
It's a good time to sell.
Youngsters, go back in history and look up the real estate crash and the market crash of 2008. So I was buying homes on the courthouse steps for pennies on the dollar.
Golly.
And so it was an incredible time to be alive, but a lot of hard work too. But you almost like a fire hydrant figuring it out, and it wasn't great. And there were a lot of families and a lot of businesses that were devastated. So we were very fortunate.
It was extra worse down here because the oil spill hit.
When we were very fortunate, and we were in the right place with the right time with a company that had done that. But for us back in the day, we always tried to market our sanitation. But we were in the 87 was when it started. We sold in 2009. By 2009, the internet was coming, but we didn't have emails were just barely even there. They were to the tail end. I shouldn't say they were barely there. They got definitely bigger in the last 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
but we
iPhones kind of came out 2008.
Probably 2008. I think 2008, 2009 iPhones. But BlackBerry was the big
that's
thing.
what I used to have.
BlackBerry was the big thing. Well, we had Nextels. But prior to that, we had the old CB radios on a channel, and then we went to Nextels, and we put Nextels in all the trucks, and they just they had their own phone number or whatever, and the little chirp thing, which was always funny. I don't know if you ever had a Nextel, and again, I'm dating myself and kids. Usually
early 2000s,
but
yellow.
But do you remember the courtesy stuff? You would have that friend that would they'd beep. You'd always have the chirp. You just chirp them, and then hey, go ahead, and come back. So essentially, you had like a walkie-talkie in your pocket.
Yeah, it was cool, man. It was
I miss that. I wish we still had that.
But you always had that. My mother-in-law always did this, where she wouldn't chirp. She would just hold it down and go, "Hey, Jason, I need 2 eggs and 5 pieces of bread if you're going, whatever. Going to the store, give me 5 loaves of bread and whatever." She never did.
Well,
that
the reason they were big is because of the data
and
too.
It'd be on your hip, But it was big because you could Nextel somebody.
Yeah. It didn't cost you. It was no charge. That's what.
That was back.
Texts were like damn 20 cents a text.
We had just came out of the bag. We had just came out of the bag phones then, when it was like $3.99 a minute to call somebody. But then you had a $50 plan that had you 100 minutes, but where you could Nextel somebody for free.
Yeah, it was a great marketing.
It really was.
These kids probably remember when you had to weigh what you did the most, right? So it evolved into, do I want minutes? Do I want domestic? Am I traveling?
All
how many texts do I want? All that.
That's
every bit of your data was paid for. So,
That's right. Now you get an unlimited plan. You can go overseas for like $10 a day.
It's crazy.
But you couldn't use your phone. I mean, we travel overseas, and you could not use your phone to so maps or look something up, because if you used your phone, that'd like $200.
Oh yeah,
I got a bill for $503 from Verizon one time from taking a cruise.
That you
kind of roaming. We had our phones.
You had it on roaming, and it was just.
But we didn't know.
Roaming.
Like, we weren't even using the cell
right,
phones.
because you had to go on and turn roaming. Right, they were like turn roaming off. Turn.
We've all been through that. I think
that's like a normal bill now, but go back like 15 years ago, $503 was crazy.
$503 is like $2,500 now, right?
Shoot, yeah.
But Brandon, what's crazy is there's some executive at AT&T that was like, got him.
Boom! Told y'all, great implementation.
We knew it. Yeah. We knew roaming.
We got him with the roaming day.
Got him with the roaming.
We'll ride this for a decade. Yeah,
but
that's crazy.
But we tracked everything we marketed at the sanitation company. So what we did is we would do realtors, and back then we were in the 3rd fastest growing county in the nation in the 90s, where my hometown was, and so they were popping up subdivisions everywhere, and we got the idea that if we put a can at all the open houses and because they would build a house and it would be like the model home.
That's genius.
So we would do a can at the model home, and then their first 3 homes we'd do a can. And what you'd find is that when you did that, which by the way, this is a tip. Well, brilliant. Write this down if you want to go into sanitation. But we would go there, and once you got the first 3 cans, the 90% of everybody that moved in, where do they look? Where do they go? They look, who does my neighbor have?
That's genius.
My neighbor puts her can out. Oh, I got to call them and get them to pick me up. And then the realtor, what we started doing is we would do these move-in flyers for realtors, because they would go to a closing and they would say, hey, by the way, here's all your utilities. And it would be like, this is the schools in your area, this is the good restaurants, this is
plumber,
your utilities,
electrician,
plumber, electrician, water, county, this, and then garbage was
That's genius.
But we would give them this, and so we'd have realtors that call us, hey, I need like 5 more, or 50 more move-in packets or whatever. And then we give the realtor free service at their home. So that was like one of our biggest marketing tools, because they were selling everything in our counties and they would promoting us.
Heck yeah.
That's marketing.
So that was
genius.
Yeah,
that's marketing.
So that was before like figuring out the soft spot in marketing and figuring out. But but we put effort into our cans. I would talk to my can provider, and they would imprint hot burn into the can your phone number and stuff. I said, how can I make like my name and phone number? Because you could do logos, you could do all these crazy things. People did. Honestly, it's insane. If you look at your garbage can, here where we are, we're subjected to it's flow control in Florida, so Waste Management does everything. But where I came from, it was unincorporated. It was free market, and so we could have anywhere from 18 different competitors in our area that we were competing with. But we were just out hustling them. Mm-hmm. But I said, how do I make my signs and my numbers bigger? And so they made them like 1 or 2 inches bigger so people would see the phone numbers better, and and things of that nature. We did really nice logos on our truck. I paid somebody professionally to clean my truck because I was like, this is my image I'm putting out there. Every week my trucks were clean because it's my community. And I wanted to look good. I wanted to have good logos. So we tracked it. And so when people would call in, we old school had a sheet of paper for everybody that was answering a phone, had old school. If they said, I'm signed up for service, there was a whole tick box that they'd say, well, how did you hear about us? And we would track because marketing can be like the black hole.
You're listening to What the Hell Do I Know with JB. JB with ADHD. Elemental B. Anyway, back to the show.
So we were tracking it in multiple ways. We had to track it, but it's important that you track it. But I mean, how do you do that? I mean, we're figuring out like what's working and everything.
Yeah. So every decision we make is very analytical, from our conversion rates, click-through rates, open rates, all the different metrics you track with. But paid traffic, still there's that ambiguity that you're like, is that data right? So there's a lot of services that pop up and exist. And with all this new AI, there's been a lot of redundancies to help, track that data. But we're everything we do is digital, so we track everything. Yeah. So every time we send an email, our subscriptions, our churn rate, every metric, if you Googled any digital marketing metric, we're looking at those, and that's how we make our decisions, right?
It's all off of numbers, right?
Yeah,
I mean, we were talking about that, like finance, Jackson going into finance and entrepreneurship, but I mean, numbers don't lie.
Exactly. So, people like you are probably like, damn, that would have been nice back then, right? So I try to be grateful for us having that.
Yeah, we were tick marking it, and then somebody at the end of the night would put that all into Excel spreadsheet, and so I would get uploaded the yesterday's stuff. I mean, I could check it during the day and dial in, but yesterday I get like the full picture of what the calls were, and then I would look at like day to day, week to week, month to month, year to year, all quarter to quarter, and you could see like the trends around this Christmas season and New Year's, or if somebody sold their business, or if
that's genius.
Something happened. And so we were constantly tracking it because that's how you can't make decisions off of emotions.
Can't.
Decisions have to be based off of real data.
That's right.
And by the way, I'm giving myself another one.
Let's all write that down.
And I hope I'm going to take you being right there. So we actually, another thing we're doing, we just bought a knife manufacturing company.
Nice.
So I'm doubling down on American-made manufacturing. I'm so proud of this country and still believe in it.
Heck yeah, man. Freedom's real.
But I've never bought a knife in my life. I have about 10 in my junk drawer, right?
Okay.
I'm that guy. I like a good knife if I'm doing something, but I've never went and bought, but the data says, and every American-made manufacturer's data says that the demand's crazy right now, right? Wow. It's becoming kind of like guns and ammo.
Really?
So almost like a second currency. So there's 4 or 5 American-made manufacturers right now that after they do a knife drop, they're being resold.
Wow! Very cool.
Yeah, so DMO
so you're
knives.
Finding the nuances in that sort of thing. Yeah.
So back to
What's the knife?
It's called DMO Knives. You can bring it up, Juice,
if
you want.
DMOknives.com.
Check it out. Dead Moose Ops is what it's called. And again, I'll just tell the story because it's very interesting.
Yeah.
So we partner with these major influencers, and we like to, I call it, we're product agnostic, offer oriented. So we'll source any product. We feel like we're the best in the world at sourcing, right, and bringing something to market. And it doesn't matter what, we work back from the offer, right? So if it's whatever, it could be a girl who does TikTok dances for cheerleaders, and we would market to them, right, and do cute bows and skirts, and or it could be a patriotic American, and we do patriotic apparel or something. So product agnostic, offer oriented. But so knives are hot.
Oh yeah,
knives are super hot. So being in e-commerce, I have a buddy who went to a knife company, and they're crushing.
By the way, I saw a buddy of mine. I went to his house, and he was making fillets for us. I think the ladies, all our wives, were at like a book club or something. He said, "Hey guys, why don't y'all come over? We'll do steak night or something." He grilled these steaks, but he had these knives. These steak knives, they looked kind of like one of your knives right here, but it was a steak knife.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy?
It was
and he probably paid,
dude,
he paid a pretty penny for that.
But that's what we ate, was like off of like what you would cut in the woods or something. But it was a steak knife. It was so cool.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it's funny you say that, because like what I've noticed, I did recently buy a long blade knife, because a lot of people are getting into the survival kit stuff now. It's just because of everything going on in the world.
Yep.
And I bought, because I have a small, I initially started it because of hurricane season, right? You get like a generator and you get some storable food, and you just kind of keep adding to that gradually. And I didn't have a knife. And I was like, well, you probably need a knife to fillet fish for whatever reason. If you're killing something, you just have to have a knife. So I did buy one. So it's interesting that I can see where you're right about the trends going to that.
Evolution of this. So I wanted to do a drop with, so remember, I have these big influencers, so I have this audience, and I know how many clicks I can get, right? So I did a survey, and I have one of our audiences, there's 700 people right now that want to buy a $1,000 knife.
These knives are so cheap.
Wow. I called about 30 American-made knife manufacturers, and every single one of them, if I call any other supplier with our volume, they're very happy to talk, right? And happy to work together now and all that. I couldn't get,
nobody return a call.
Tim Johnson from Bum Freak, Tennessee, to give a shit that I could sell 20,000 knives, right?
Yeah, right.
Because he was so busy.
Gotcha.
I finally, about 50 calls in and 50 manufacturers in, found Dead Moose Ops, who's in Missouri, about an hour and a half from us, completely coincidental. And the owner's an active police chief, and they don't know a thing about how to get that knife to market, but they know how to make
a great knife.
That's exactly
awesome,
right.
Dude.
So
looking at them,
they do look great. By the way,
they can do a logo.
Look at that cleaver, though. I mean, that's amazing.
That's what they call Cerakoted. So that's G10 blade. That's a 1/4-inch steel. G10 handle, 1/4-inch steel blade, and that's Cerakoted on there.
So when
there's only 3 left.
When you're marketing a product and you're out doing that,
hard work and a lot of people watching this. I know you're early on your journey, or
maybe
these
opportunities
haven't opened.
Journey.
But I'll say this: until I just started what I call filling the funnel. Just giving myself opportunities all the time and consistently, not just for a month, 3 weeks, but 15 years. Things just start like this. This is so lucky, and it's the best knife in the country. And
but that's the thing. One thing I've noticed about you is that you have to when you're marketing something, you better know your product, because you actually, like, here you were telling us about like the steel they're using and this, that, and the other. I mean, if you're going to be a marketer, if you're going to put your product out there, and by the way, if you're in business, and I get it, and you're in a small business, you are the marketer. You are doing all the jobs. I know that. Even if you're a medium-sized business, you got a marketing team, you still have to know what you're doing. You need to know what you're getting involved with, because how can you sell it if you don't know it?
Yeah, you can't. And if you don't believe in something, why are you selling it? So,
brilliant.
But we're really excited about that. So, honestly, Optimal Human and DMO are, super going to be in my focus this next 24 months. I'm really excited.
Focused on them and dial in on it. Yeah, and you kind of touched on this a little bit, but as a business owner, you're always trying to, I always feel like you're trying to stay ahead of the curve. Like you're wanting to see around the corner, the crystal ball. Like how do I focus on what's next? What is the trend of doing? Obviously you saw this spot in knives and this algorithm work, and you're leveraging into that. I get that, but what is it that you're doing to stay sharp in this economy?
Yeah, I think one thing is I engage a lot on social media. Unfortunately, it's a necessary evil, but I try to follow a lot of brands because I like to be marketed to.
By the way, that is our market. Yeah. I mean, kids are seeing what they're. Yeah. I shop off social media.
It's hard.
So anytime I open an email, anytime someone makes me click, even if it's an organic post, I note that, right? I'm like, what did they say? Or, one email, a subject line looked like, how you do your iPhone and you mark a flag of email?
Down, shall we, class?
One subject I saw years ago looked like I had flagged an email, and if you're a guy that does that, it's going to make you stop and click that email, right?
Absolutely.
using just, always taking in things and learning and, I don't know, just trying to stay relevant. But when you do e-commerce, you really happen to know the trends on what's moving, where paid traffic's going and all that. And hopefully you get a little
Man, I love it. So that's how you trying to... for me, it was also, of course, my business it's changed so much. I mean, today, I definitely would agree. Like now I'm looking at it. Used to what we were doing was, and I think it's still important, like knowing what your competition is doing.
Oh, big time.
I think knowing what they're doing. I don't want to go like down the rabbit hole. I don't actually care, but I want to know, because I want to do me. I want to do what we're really good at, and you got to adapt, you got to pivot, and you got to move, and all of those things you got to do in business. But you need to have an understanding of what your competition is doing, right?
100%. Yeah, I mean, this product, 3 years, 17 states, like 50-something factories to find the perfect one. Again, bootstrapped. We can't spend a fortune up front. We have to formulate it. All the things. Where are they sourcing the products? What's the testing? Yeah. The facility. What registrations do they have? All that stuff. But we also bought, unfortunately, over $10,000 of the market to get to know, and we really built it off of AG1. So
gotcha.
There's no need to recreate Uber, right?
Right. No,
Uber's a multi-billion-dollar business. Sure. Add a service to Uber. You already have the audience, right? So that's how I like to think about a lot of our stuff. Sure. And AG1's a $2 billion company made in New Zealand that a lot of people, there's some things for holding them back here in America, and I think that we, fill that gap here.
100%. So, they got if it's made in New Zealand, there's a lot of movement to get that product over here.
Yeah, we're 25% more affordable.
100%. Because you've got to be alone, just because you're making it right here.
Yep,
absolutely,
that's right.
Absolutely. So listen, we're going to move into a new game. It's called "It's Happened in Florida." I'm going to give you 3 different examples. You've got to tell me if you think it's happened we'll let all of you answer and we'll see who's right. You got to tell me if you believe it's happened in Florida or not, okay? If it's happened in Florida or not. So number 1, this state is considering a change in the law that would lower the drinking age to 19 as long as their parent is present and agree that it is okay. Is that in Florida?
Damn, that sounds like Florida. I'm going to go with Louisiana.
I mean, you don't have to name the state. I'm just asking, is it Florida or somewhere else?
I thought you could do that in Florida already, so I'm going to say yeah.
Okay, you're going to say yes. What do you got, Collin?
I'm going to say no.
I'm going to say no, too.
All right, that is a no. That is a no.
Let's go.
That is a no. All right.
Which state is it? Come on.
I don't know.
Louisiana was a hell of a guess.
Louisiana.
It's the last one to go to 21, wasn't it?
I went to Louisiana the first time. Maybe one of the first times, and they have like drive up like daiquiri places.
They do.
And as long as it's got a top in it, even if the top you can put a straw.
Oh my gosh,
that is how
we're not going to drink and drive. We promise.
Well, the driver's it's a different world in
It's
Louisiana.
for the passengers. Yeah.
I mean, I went to Bourbon Street to party, and I was shocked at 8 a.m. when I woke up. Every local was drinking. It was crazy.
It's insane.
Yeah, it was nuts.
I may need a little top off.
I hung out with some Louisiana folks this whole weekend, and their drinking skills are amazing.
By the way, we're going to give a little top off. I want to give a shout out to Chicken Cock.
I need a little bit also, please.
Chicken Cock is one of my favorite bourbons or whiskey. This, by the way, everybody, this is Chicken Cock. We're talking about a lot of products, Optimal, Human, Go Bigley. But this Chicken Cock is Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey. I love their rye. You can get it at chickencockwhiskey.com. I love Chicken Cock. The famous old brand established in 1856. I love Chicken Cock. Chicken Cock is great. So, all right, the next one. A woman using self-checkout had replaced the barcode price stickers on big screen TV and laptops with clearance item price stickers. Florida or not? Florida or not?
I've done that before on clothing.
Oh, juice.
So I'm going to say yes because I've done it, but not on a big screen TV.
Warning.
Now for a word of caution.
Juice. We haven't had
At least you're honest. I was a teenager.
I was a
teenager.
Doesn't that happen every Saturday? Yeah, I would say yeah.
It did happen in Florida.
Okay, yeah.
The lady went to the Walmart. She said her husband got her a Coach purse, and so she was trying to figure out how to pay him back and food for the kids, but it was like laptops and big screen TV.
Yeah, I mean, that stuff registered on self checkout.
She did self checkout.
Yeah,
is $2,800. It was like $2,800 or $3,800 worth of stuff for $4.08.
That's you got to be a little more.
Juice, you got to. She needs to learn the game from you.
Like dumb criminal. Come on, I was doing.
Gotta do better. All right,
$50 or $25. That's crazy.
A woman was having trouble seeing on a dark airline flight, so she lit a lighter. She was also drunk and had brought her own alcohol on the plane.
Florida woman for sure.
That's a Florida thing.
So that was not Florida. That was not Florida. We only had one. We had one Florida in there. So great job. Great job, everybody.
It's gotta be Georgia then, right?
Florida. It's probably Georgia. Yeah, it's probably Georgia. By the way, again, shout out to our show sponsor, Optimal Human. It is not just another supplement. It's specifically formulated for optimal health. It combines essential vitamins and minerals with specialized nutrients. It supports your gut microbiome, boosts your immune system, and enhance brain function. This comprehensive formula supports the interconnected systems of your body, ensuring that everything from your mental clarity to your physical vitality is functioning at its best. 90-plus ingredients in Optimal Human. So you need to check it out, optimalhuman.com. Check it out. We need to do a code, like a what the hell do I know code or something. I'll get with you when this releases. We'll do a code
100%.
so that we do a code and
in the
folks here
description.
Will get it.
Let's put it in the description and we'll get them a discount.
That'll be great. We need to do a discount code. That'll be great for folks here. You should definitely try your Optimal Human. I know I've got a lot of folks out there that are drinking a lot of different stuff. This is American made. It's a great product. By the way, I was watching something about Alzheimer's, and for the first time, there's now science that's starting to say that you can do something for your brain function to help prevent Alzheimer's. You know, they're still figuring it out. They're still trying to find a cure. There's a lot unknown, but just like you work out your body and your shoulders and your arms and your biceps and your triceps and your thighs and all that, you got to work out your brain.
Yeah.
You know, and so this is something that as I'm getting into, 47, my late 40s, I was at a party the other day and, I saw some old guys sitting in the chair and, you kind of like, okay, well, they're older. I've got to let them sit in chairs. It's this respect thing. Yeah. And then once they got up out of the chair, I felt like I had to, because I grew up this way in the South, that I had to give a certain amount of time to make sure they weren't coming back, Oh, yeah. I couldn't do the whole take their chair, know. But after the right amount of time had gone, I was like, I feel like I'm the old guy now. I need to sit down, I mean, I'm like hit the age where like, hey, youngster, get out of my chair.
Yeah. Well, that's annoying. You see all these videos on the internet where it's like, 80-year-old woman standing on the subway and a guy won't let her sit down.
But brain health is crazy. I think about it.
Yeah.
Like I think about it. Like I need to do some of that stuff.
Yeah. Right? This has a mushroom blend in it that's really good. Lion's mane, ashwagandha. Yeah. It's really good brain health. Nootropic, they call it. So
that's great.
Yeah.
Well, let's get it out of the way. This is Juice's favorite moment of the show.
Let's go.
Quote of the day by Taylor.
No, I thought we were doing something else.
Taylor Swift. Taylor Swift, baby. Hey, man. So Taylor says, she said in her song Mirror Ball, I've never been a natural. All I do is try, which by the way, I think that works in business.
Okay. Yeah.
You don't always have to be a natural. You just got to keep pressing and trying. So, but reviewing resumes at CLM, this sanitation company I'm talking about, I've used a lot of that as examples, but that was kind of, it was pretty large business for us. I've done a lot of stuff since, but in venture capital, but, like really diving in and had my hands in this when I was, the CEO of this company. But it was always interesting that, as emails were just coming around, but we would get resumes that would be sent to us. But I love how you would get the resume. And back then, I don't know if they were doing it now, but they were doing these resumes where you would get a resume, like 2000. And it would be like hotmail40@gmail.com or something, right? Or you get like Big Daddy Hunter at AOL.com.
That was me. I was
Big Pimp at 42069. I'm pretty sure I had Collin 42069 or something. I might still have it. No,
but they put that on a resume.
Yeah, right.
So like, hey, tip of the day. Get you a legit email. Get a
business
clean. If you don't already have it, get a business email. Get a clean email. Don't have something like Big Daddy Hunter.
I would tell you what my first email I made in high school, but I still use it, and I can't tell you.
No, don't tell me.
What is it? Juice what?
This is.
Don't say. We'll do it off show.
I'll tell you off show, but it's hilarious you said that.
But it is like everybody had this because when it first came out, you're like, we've got to be. But people do it on their social media. You see it. It's like you've got to clean up some of that stuff when you're going into that. But sometimes you can't help.
No,
these are things you can help young people.
Yes,
these are things you can help You should get a clean email, a clean social media account. Scrub your social media if you're coming into the work world. Think about like the things, the knuckleheaded things you might have said, like scrub it. If nobody's told you that, scrub it. Scrub it now.
I told you when I had hired 30, 40, 50 high school kids every year on the beach, and that was the first thing I did, social media. Yeah, but I looked at their social media.
Sometimes you can't do it though. Sometimes you've done everything you can. We had this one application.
Yeah, there's some you can't.
It was a driver, and this one application he came through, and his name was Aswad, but it's spelled ASSWAD.
How you say it, JB?
There's some.
How'd you introduce yourself?
It was Aswad, but he went by AD.
I don't blame him.
No, really.
I don't blame him.
I mean, his parents must have hated him.
Oh my gosh!
I mean, like just hated him.
That's crazy. Yeah, like, some social media you can search.
Labored over that birth.
Oh yeah, for sure.
So I mean, but
that's hilarious.
Labored over that birth.
Well, what's funny is my wife would have to sometimes enter these applications. They would go from like the main office, and we would have a home office where my wife would work out of more. I worked in the main office, but she did she was a CFO, but she did a lot of stuff there where she could be with the kids. And I remember she got his application. She had to call our like GM, and she was like, Joe. Well, Joe was our VP, but she's like, Joe, who's this guy? He's like, it's really Aswad.
No joke.
Yeah, she said funny. No joke, but he goes by AD.
That's so
but
good.
His check was as ASSWAD, but he said it was pronounced as. Wad. I was like, yeah, sure, whatever.
Mm-hmm. So that's the same thing.
Yeah. But he went by AD though. I thought that's funny. But what would you tell those listening that they should do when they're going into an interview, or they should be preparing for an interview? I mean, what would you tell them?
Yeah. Again, I am a little bit different because I think the corporate model is somewhat dying a little bit. I really do.
To a degree it is. I agree with you.
I do. But, I would say be very honest. Be honest. Know what you want, what you want in your future. I like asking people and asking them, hey, why are you here? Right.
I think having a plan, right?
Yeah,
like getting those, like knowing that, who do you want to be in this company?
Which to follow up to what you're saying is just preparing for the interview, right? So ask yourself, right? Even if it's not about the company you're going to, ask yourself what you want. Why are you going to the interview? Be able to tell somebody that, because if they love their business like the way I do in my business, I want to know why the hell you're there and what value you're bringing and what value I can bring them. So I really love to know just the truth about them. I honestly
100%.
Don't really care about the resume at all. I care about how they are as soon as they get in there, right? And
I totally agree with you. Like the resume, and I've said this before, but I did a resume class in college, and one of the best classes I took, to be quite honest. But he told us put all the stuff you want them to read on the left side. Think about if you could take that page and fold it in half. Everything that you think is important should be on the left, because they're going to read like 2 or 3 things.
Scan it.
Right.
They're scanning it, so they're never going to get to the right side.
Just to get you in, right?
And you need to get in on the left side. Forget about the right side. And they also said to keep it one page. Now I know some of you out there, and if you're older, you probably have 3-page resumes. And I do think there's positions when you're getting into the C-suite or something like that. Maybe I still though think it shouldn't be more than a page, because I'm not going to second page. I'm not second page in anybody. I don't care if you're 50 or 60. I'm one page in you, and
it depends on the job, obviously, but for most jobs,
well, but the resume is like going to be it's essentially it's your social media account on paper.
It is.
It's your highlight reel.
Your LinkedIn, right?
Yeah,
so if you're on social, I highly suggest getting on LinkedIn and engaging there, because I go there. That's the first place I go to find somebody.
You put out stuff in like places like that. Monster, do you do
even if I'm trying to hire basically anything above entry level, I like to go look at their LinkedIn.
I need to follow you on LinkedIn. We got to connect, but I have I stalked you LinkedIn, getting prepared for this. And I've noticed that you put things out, like if you're looking for this,
absolutely,
you're looking for that.
Yeah.
I have noticed that.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, you should follow Collin Sanders on LinkedIn. You should go on LinkedIn, follow Collin Sanders of Go Bigley. You'll see, you'll know it's him. I don't think there's any other Collin Sanders on there, but if there is, I mean. Maybe they're related to the Colonel Sanders.
There you go.
Yeah. But you should totally follow Collin and see what he's got going on, because I mean you're connected to a lot of great things there.
Thank you,
for
brother.
Sure.
Thank you
Absolutely.
so much. Yeah,
absolutely. But the other thing is, I don't think young people are taught completely, and I know, this is a very broad statement. So some of you, in fact, I'll give myself an unpopular opinion.
Warning. Now for a word of caution. Warning.
But I know that you jerk. But I know a lot of young people aren't taught like that, just little things like the handshake and eye. Like I was taught growing up, my father taught me growing up how to shake a hand, firm, but not too firm. Look him in the eye, but not a death stare. Friendly. But you don't, because you get those people that have the fish. Yeah. They just kind of throw their hand out, and you're just like, what am I?
Bad first impression, right?
So look, if you're going in for a job interview, I'm telling you, get with a friend of yours and practice the walk up, and you want to hit it. That webbing, and you want that webbing to meet, and you want to meet their strength. You don't want to overdo their strength. You don't want to underdo their strength. So the person you're shaking hands with, whatever strength he has, just meet it. You'll know what I mean if you practice this. Get to your friend and practice the handshake, because I'm telling you, that is such a huge impression for me. That is almost my first impression of somebody, is how do they shake hands.
For sure. And are they looking at you?
And are they looking at you? Will they look you in the eyeballs?
Yeah. And I like people that come in with confidence, and it doesn't matter what you've done or where you've been, carry yourself with confidence. People will respect you more,
100%. So, and you got to market yourself.
Fake it till you make it.
Right.
Like, that's real. That's super real.
Right. Fake it. You took one of my questions right there, because it is. No, it's great. I mean, you really do have to fake it till you make it. I mean, my father-in-law worked at Jones Truck Lines in Arkansas, Little Rock, Arkansas,
That's
way
awesome.
back when. But he was out of Memphis, and but he was. I guess he was trying in Memphis. He was trying to grow his ability in that business, and he was just, I don't know, working on the loading docks, and he saw that he could get into the office. The job in the office, you had to be proficient in the 10 key. So the numbers, the 10 key numbers, you had to be proficient in the 10 key numbers. And he was not, but he wanted to be in the office. So he put his application in, said he was proficient in the 10 key numbers. He went home, and for 4 days straight before his interview, all he did all day long was a 10 key.
I love it.
He just did 10 key, 10 key, 10 key, and he went into the thing, got the job, and worked his way up as manager. And then they sold the truck lines company, and he went and then started this.
He's the same guy who exited sanitation, right?
Exited sanitation. But, and then when he lost his job in Jones, because they sold and they didn't need the combination of economies of scale and all that, certain managers were out, and he's like, I'm not working for somebody else. And so, in 1987, that's when he bought a sanitation company, one truck, 500 customers. So, and then we sold it for hundreds and thousands of customers later, and
that's huge,
hundreds of trucks, and it was a lot of fun. But
that's awesome.
And I was second generation. I was really lucky to be able to do that for my wife, and I took over for like the last 10 years.
That's great.
But it was great. I mean, that's why I always tell my kids: first generation makes it, second generation maintains it, third generation loses it. So we're like, you got a lot on your shoulder, boys. There you go. A lot on your shoulder, boys. Man. Boys and girls.
One thing about your father-in-law, and I almost mentioned it earlier, but I think one thing too, if I could give any advice, if you're talking to people, going into the workforce,
all the advice we wanted, all the advice
is that victim mentality, and you hear it a lot, right? But an example of a victim mentality would be your father-in-law at Jones Truck Lines saying, I can't do that. I was never taught that.
I'll never do that.
Screw those office people, right? Then you start having resentment.
I got to have a 10 key.
And instead, he doesn't have a victim mentality,
he said,
right?
I'm going to go out and learn it.
He learned it.
Yeah.
And then he got fired or a bad situation happened. And then he went and
they said, now it's time to do something
exited
else.
Another monster, right?
That's
so
right.
like that's
sometimes
opposite of a victim mentality.
The failure is where you learn, right?
That's it.
In fact, when I hear in business or life, and somebody says, I have no regrets, I'm like, man, you ain't even being honest, bro. Because I'm not saying I live in regrets. But if you don't analyze where you've gone wrong, I mean, if I had to go back and start over, there's millions of things I would do differently.
Man.
Millions of things I'd do differently. And in fact, it's why, again, I stress this, and if you're a parent and your kids aren't watching this, you need to figure out the way to work this in. Tell them we talk about Tay-Tay. Tell them we have a drink of the day. Tell them we have a lot of laughs. Whatever it is, you should get them and listen in, because, again, these are kind of cheat codes, just little bit by bit cheat codes that can help you improve that next step of your life. And I think it's really important. And it's what my father-in-law did. I mean, up until the day he died, I mean, I remember I was in there, he hadn't entered a check or done accounting in years. I mean, years, decades by the time we had sold the business, and even when in his death. But he had a little calculator. He had the old school where it had the paper on it. And I said, Dave, you still know that 10 key? He's like, test me. And I'm telling you, 1,222 times 425 plus 132 times whatever, and he just and not look at it, and then the tape. You'd rip the tape off; it'd be correct. You could add it up, you calculate it, whatever you want to do, it'd just be correct, because he just, it was all that that memory. It's the same, and they don't teach typewriting now, in high school. That was like one of my best classes I took in high school.
What they call it, your GWAM, dude, your gross words per minute, or what was it? Remember that?
Yes, I do.
Whatever, however we were.
You'd sit your fingers just right. But I mean, being able to type has helped me so much in my life. But of course, kids now, I can chat GBT some say,
voice
format this email for me or whatever.
Well, hell, your recent post, cursive. They don't even know cursive anymore, right?
I posted something to my daughter.
That made me laugh.
What is this language?
Right.
Because they don't even teach cursive. Your kids aren't learning cursive.
Hell no. And I can barely write not cursive.
Right.
So, you know what I mean?
You're in this quandary. You got to figure it out. No doubt. But sometimes, sometimes you make a bad impression. Sometimes, first impressions are so important. But sometimes you make a bad impression. In high school, I love my high school friends. I have several of them will listen to this podcast and they'll be like, but we were all knuckleheads in high school. Just be honest with yourself. You've all grown up and you're better. But we took.
Not Joe. Joe Chapman's pretty.
Joe
crazy,
and I didn't go to high school together. We hung out together.
Okay.
So these were guys I went to high school with. Joe and I though knew each other from elementary school and church.
Okay.
And so we hung out together. We still did knuckleheaded things. We'll have to talk about some of that later. But we had a guitar class that I took my senior year because I had completed all the necessities.
Yeah.
And so no, I'm going to tell the PG version of the story. But we did a lot of crazy things, and so I will tell this one story. We did so many crazy things, and I always found myself like my friends would press boundaries, but I would pull back on certain boundaries, but I would see them press them. And I remember one time we had to go and you would have to like play a guitar or whatever. You have to like hot cross buns on guitar and you have to play it for the teacher, And so in our high school, the music room was a big open room. And on the outside was these cinder block walls. So if I can find a picture of something, but the cinder block would go halfway up, and then it was like plexiglass rooms. So they were like little music rooms that like the violins could go and practice, and the flutes could go and practice. But but you had to be able to see into all these rooms. So they were kind of like boxed out, and the music director, the band director, had his own office around this big room, the music room. But I went into his office. I only tell you this because all this plexiglass. And while I'm trying to do hot cross buns, there is a music room behind the music director's room where I guess, again, the percussions could go in there and practice. And there's plexiglass right behind him. And my buddies, while I'm trying to go in and do my little, deal to get my grade, and Three Blind Mice or whatever I'm playing, Three Blind Mice, ding, 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 they proceed to scurry underneath the half wall behind the cinder blocks, and they get into that back room behind him. And all I see is two of my buddies jumping up with their pants pulled down, mooning me as they jump up behind the band director. And I'm doing hot cross
trying
buns.
to take your test.
But I can't break. I can't break because I'm totally going to give them up if I break.
You're right.
And I finally look at him. I said, man, I just come back to can I do this later? And they could not stop laughing. We got out of it. But we did a lot of crazy stuff. And I remember that band director finally pulled us out one time. All four of us pulled us out and outside the room. His room was right next to like student parking, and he put us right on the curb and like stood us up on the curb, and he chewed us out for all we were worth. I remember he told us, he said, "You guys will never amount to anything." And he may have gone on to say, like, if you don't stop, but that's all I heard. And I was like, I'm going to show him.
Yeah.
So like sometimes you give a bad first impression, but like I think you've got to do something. What are some things? I mean, you've got to look internally, right?
Yeah.
And evaluate yourself sometimes and say, what are the blind spots in my life?
100%, man. I feel like I do that as a dad all the time. Every night I'm like, hell, I even do the crazy stuff where if we're walking the beach, somehow I have a nightmare that something happened. It's crazy. But no, I do. I think you have to evaluate yourself and be honest.
Like what
right?
don't be a narcissist.
Yeah,
like really think about ask somebody that you care about. Like, hey, what are some things that I'm missing?
Yeah, exactly. Have people close to you that will be honest, because if they love you, they're going to be dead honest with you, right? And they're not going to bullshit you,
right?
And they're going to tell you,
they want you to be the best version of you. You want to be the best version of you, but sometimes you're so close to it you can't.
Exactly.
See it.
We're blind. We have blinders on whether we know it or not. We try not to, but it's really good to have those people who care about us, right? In our life who are real, right?
Got to have somebody real for sure.
Like Juice, you know,
you don't want to
just call your ass out.
Yeah, you don't want to be surrounded by yes men for sure. If everybody's telling you what you want to hear, you need to get away from all
that's
of
the
them.
wrong crowd, right?
Yeah, because you're not going to. Yeah, you got to be around honest people. Yeah, I'll tell you.
Honest people for sure.
That cliche of if you're around, 5 people, you're going to be the 6th, whatever they do, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
If you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room.
Yeah,
you're in the wrong room. That's
100%.
exactly right. Yeah, so you can make a bad impression, but you can pivot and you can change it. And by the way, there's a couple of those guys, or one of those guys I don't know well. There's some of the guys that took a little longer for them to mature for sure. But for the most part, all of us are did
I thought you were going to say he curb stomped you when you hit yourself the curb.
I bet he wanted to. So that day, the stuff the reason why he pulled us out of there will not be mentioned.
So the kids
probably deserved that. It was a lot more than mooning somebody. We probably needed it. We probably needed it when they pulled that out. By the way, it is now our time for. Here it is, right? Our time. Juicy time. Come on, please.
He'll make it right in a flash. He'll solve the fight. Oh man, he's good at poker. That's right.
Cheer.
Yeah, he is.
Jokes, baby.
I mean, y'all both were ahead of me last time, Colin and Becker here, but
second place, baby.
Yeah, if you were to die a few hours from now, what would you regret the most?
Ooh, that's a toughie.
Is that for me?
For all
of us. Again, these are Delve cards. Delve cards. You can find it at delvecards.com. Great questions. For dinner table questions for kids. Yeah. When your kids are growing up and they don't know whether to say it all the time, they don't talk. These are great cards. Parents, get them. Kids, you want to talk to your parents, get them. They're great cards. They're great icebreakers. Great dinner table discussion stuff. So if you were to die today, what would be my biggest regret?
Mine would be I have a 7-month-old, so obviously not seeing her grow up. That would suck. So
I think that would be. I think the kids for sure.
But if we're going to take it away, that's kind of obvious.
Obvious thing
not like the
maybe
future
something
thing,
you've done in the past. Let's do that. Let's go past.
Yeah, something maybe I've not done.
Maybe you didn't tell somebody.
I think one thing for me is, I believe in Jesus Christ as my Savior, and a lot of times. I've lived where people don't know that about me, and that should be what I wear most, right?
Yeah, that's true.
If I had to be really honest, I would say that would be one huge regret.
Maybe a regret not sharing that.
That's a great question because now I can work on that, right?
Yeah, you can work on it.
But
especially what he's done, in your life.
100%. I mean,
why would I talk about that? That's pretty important.
Yeah, right. Sure. Exactly. And like you said, it doesn't matter where you've been or what you believe or any of that, right?
Yeah,
but he's changed my life. And
I say it all the time. I never had a better friend than Jesus.
It's crazy. So for me, I think that takes the cake for sure. And then there's some really dumb shit I've done.
Yeah,
sure.
I'd love to take back.
Sure, there's regrets there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
I feel like I would regret maybe not having another Seagars fillet. I mean, that fillet at Seagars is pretty.
Anybody down on the Emerald Coast?
If you come down the Emerald Coast, another Seagars fillet. Great.
SEA.
Can they sponsor?
Cigars.
Can they sponsor?
Can they sponsor these fillets for everybody?
I need to talk to them.
We'll get the chef. Get the head chef on.
We need to have Chef Fleetwood over here one day.
Let's go.
And we need to do a cigars day.
Dude, for real.
We need to do that for real, man.
Sure.
I'd eat that. I mean, their seafood tower. Cream
I've
corn.
been there a couple times.
Amazing.
I need to go more often.
Yeah,
Butter dunking that seafood, and you can't beat it. I call it a butter dunk.
I might be that's going to be on.
So hungry,
guy. I'm just starving.
That's going to be on my banquet table, though. If I were to die today, Jesus will have prepared me the best cigars.
We may have to go get that this week.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
You let me know. We'll be there, man. That'd be great.
I think another regret, honestly, and I work on it with my kids, is because I am a digital marketer and we do social media, I'm on my stuff a lot. I think I should take some time, way more intentional breaks. There was a book I read. I forgot what it's called. I'll find it, but so y'all can put it in the show. But about spending time, basically spending intentional time with your children and stuff. And it's amazing what a little bit, of intentionality will do for that. So that's another thing for sure I want to be better at.
Colin, I've said this before. Your kids are going to grow up. They're going to want to be everything. They're going to want to be just like you, or they're going to want to be nothing like you.
Yeah.
So you figure that out.
Yeah, no
right?
doubt.
It's in your hands, not theirs.
Yeah,
and I know that your kids are doing that, but if you're aware of that as a parent, you can make the adjustments and the changes to do that with them, right? And to dive in on it.
Yeah.
And one of the biggest things I've appreciated about my relationship, and it's one of the things I think my mother was good at, but apologizing. I apologize to my kids. You have to. I ask for forgiveness. When I act out of anger or I do something, then I'm like, look, what you did was wrong. How I reacted to what you did wasn't the right way to react.
Every parent's messed up.
Yeah. I told all my kids I've got like their first 5 counseling sessions. I'll cover it. Okay. I get it.
Right.
I get it.
Yeah.
You're going to need to get everything done.
Yeah, exactly. I'm sorry.
Your first 5's on me.
No doubt. That's hilarious.
That's right.
Yeah, for sure. Well, listen, Collin, this has been great. We have had such a fabulous time. This is probably one of our longest episodes, but we've covered so much in marketing. It's been great. We've had some camera problems. We've had some mic problems.
We've had some damn good whiskey.
It's some damn good whiskey. It's great. We've got some great whiskey.
It is good.
Well, you know what? It's
Optimal Human is going to then help all the.
The things whiskey does.
With whiskey,
can we put
this amount of whiskey isn't, I don't think that bad for you.
We're okay.
But Optimal Human will take care of the spots we're missing for sure. So
that's it.
But we'll have to have you back, man.
Yeah,
we'll have to do something again. It was so much fun.
I'm so thankful that you guys had me here.
Man,
it's just fun. I could be here all day. You guys' energy and positivity.
We'll kick it off some more. We got some food down there, so I'm excited for it. But listen, right now is the time for Listen Up, Kids. Marketing is all around you. Every single advertisement is set to entice you to avoid pain or gain pleasure. Never forget that cuts both ways. What version of you do you want to show the world around you? Do you want them to enjoy your presence or avoid your presence? Remember, you aren't everyone's cup of tea. You're going to hear no. You're going to hear that they don't like you. Allow those retractors, or another word for them, those haters, be your motivators. Self-evaluate, adapt if needed, and keep moving forward. Until next time, keep pressing, keep pushing through, keep watching, keep sharing, liking, and commenting as well, or don't. What the hell do I know?
You've been listening to What the Hell Do I Know with JB. JB has worn quite a few hats. CEO, venture investor, accidental pastor of a downtown Atlanta church, board member, passive investor, and occasional public speaker. JB's passion with his show is sharing the good, the bad, and the downright absurd. Life's a mixture, right? JB has picked up some real gems along this journey. Lessons from the business world, the chaos of parenting, and the surprises of accidental leadership. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. And we'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find Jason on Instagram at _Jason_Becker. Y'all be cool, and we'll see you next time.